Down in the Dugout, powered by Scout Scoops. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Down in the Dugout, the show that covers everything baseball and so much more. On tonight's show, we have special guest Tyler Hill, former Red Sox and Royals prospect, and now playing outfield for the Winnipeg Goldeyes. We're going to be talking to Tyler about not only his path into professional baseball, but his life outside the sport. We also want to welcome streamer and content creator for our very own brand, Scout Scoops. Many of you will know him by the name Stealth74. Here on the show, he just goes by Mike. First, though, as always, I'm your co-host, Bob Collars, and joining me is the other co-host, Scott Spindler. Also on the show tonight, we have weekly contributor, Chris Owija. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thanks for having us, or having me, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Glad to have you guys.
Yep, glad to have both you guys on here with us. Going to be a fun show. As always, we like to start off each and every segment with a little part called Around the Horn with Chris, Scott, and myself. We cover the going-ons in the world revolving around the sport of baseball, gaming, and more. The three of us like to think of it as stress relief, if you will. So, Scott, my friend, what has you riled up since last time we talked?
Well, I mean, we talked a little bit the last show about the Tiger Woods accident, and the good news is it wasn't life threatening, and looks like he is going to recover. So hopefully he is able to golf again. We're hoping for that. I know he did have some lower leg injuries and some serious problems there, but he's alive, so hopefully he'll be able to golf again. Besides that, just following some of the football news out there. I saw J.J. Watt and the Steelers. I guess that looks like a no-go for now. Looks like there's still a few teams interested in him in the football world. And obviously, we're looking at spring training. We got baseball starting to heat up, and the rosters are starting to form a little bit more. Most of the big free agents have already signed. So, just getting into that baseball mode. I think we got some live games starting this weekend. So, just a fun time of year, man. Just a lot of fun.
Christopher?
Yeah. Bob, how you like the new setup? I did this just for you.
I love anything White Sox. You know that. Yeah, we often talk when I'm sitting in Wrigley about how great it would be to be a Comiskey. We call it Comiskey.
Where's that big figure that was behind you, Chris? Is that still there? You know which one I'm talking about?
What's that?
The big figure that you had behind you during the older pods? Where's that at? Is that still accessible?
I'm not sure I even know what you're referring to.
Your big figure, the cutout figure of yourself.
Yeah.
How could you not know?
It is. It's behind the screen, so there's no way I'm getting to it right now. I'll have it for you next show.
Or you could put it as like a cardboard cutout in the stands, kind of like a nod to last year.
There you go.
Right? There you go.
Yep.
Yeah. So, for myself, we talked spring training a little bit. Watched Chris Bryant take Jake Arrieta deep today. A little batting practice on Marquee Network. It was fun. Always great to see baseball back, especially for people who are living in cold weather areas. To see people playing baseball in sunny weather, yeah, that's always a treat. Scott, you had mentioned Tiger Woods. Read pretty detailed stuff today about that accident. I'll be honest. I at this point, I don't care about golf anymore. That's selfish of me. And I don't mean that's not a reflection on you. I'm more worried about him coming back as a person and as a father and as a role figure. That's what I'm concerned about. If golf somehow ends up down the line, great. But those are my concerns right now. And it's weird because we don't know him. But let's be honest. We talked about this. He's had such a big impact, even on people who don't follow golf. He's been there. He showed he's not perfect, but I'll be honest, I don't care that he's not perfect. What I care is that he's just been part of my life growing up. I love him, and, thoughts and prayers out to him, and just hope that he can get back to where he can live a normal, pain-free life and back to being a dad with his kids and that. So
yeah, awesome. I mean, I'm sure most of you guys have seen the videos from a few weeks back when he was playing with his kid, and that, I mean, how awesome was that? So yeah, well said, Bob. Well said.
Yeah. So Mike, we didn't want to disinclude you, sir. If there's something you have to get off your chest, sir, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm just listening. I'm soaking it all in. This is First podcast for me ever.
Okay.
So I'm just.
This is awesome. Well, we're glad to have you, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm glad you asked. So it was when you asked me to come on, I was more than happy to. So
definitely
excited and yeah, you guys were talking about Tiger Woods. Being in Canada, we had our, he came up here, totally destroyed our courses, and we loved him for it. And it's good that he's alive. And like Bob said, it's all about everything else but golf right now. So hopefully he comes back, and we'll see him back on the course, sometime soon.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be excited about baseball season. We'll talk a little bit more about that later. But
yes, sir.
Your Blue Jays are they're primed for a nice run in the next few years. So we'll talk later. We got some other stuff lined up before we get to that. But
okay, so you're with Winnipeg.
Yeah, Winnipeg Goldeyes, the American Association.
Okay.
And this will be my second stint with them. So I'm excited to be out there. So I loved Winnipeg when I was there. Before that, I was with the Yankees, and the Yankees let me go, and I was kind of nervous going to independent ball and stuff. But I went there and had a good time and put up some pretty good numbers, and next thing you know, the Royals signed me. So finished out with Wilmington, and just so happened that I'm born and raised in Delaware. So finished out playing with the Blue Rocks and ended up being on a pretty good team. A lot of really good dudes off the field and on the field. Great prospects on there, and we ended up taking it all the way back and winning it in the Carolina League. So it worked out good. It was pretty cool to come home and win a championship, even in A-ball. It was just really, you grow up watching those guys and you're like, how am I ever going to get to that spot? And next thing you know, cards played right, and bam, here I am. But
what year was that you guys won the championship?
That was right before COVID, the year right before COVID.
Okay.
So Carolina League,
okay.
with the Wilmington Blue Rocks.
Okay.
So yeah, that team was stacked with some pretty solid names. It was pretty cool.
Obviously, baseball has been such a huge part of your life, Tyler. Could you talk to our listeners a little bit about, you mentioned that you grew up in Delaware. Could you talk a little bit about what it was like growing up there, what you did as a kid, and I guess kind of what age was it where you realized you had some talent? And then what age was it where other people started to realize you had some talent to take it to a level beyond high school or even college, if you will?
Well, that's actually a good question because I actually loved playing basketball and football growing up. So those were my sports first. And I just played baseball just because to play baseball, but I still loved it. I just loved competing and everything. And going into my freshman year of high school, my goal was to be playing point guard for Villanova. So I had zero, I was like, I don't even care about baseball really. I'm there to play basketball, to play football. Then next thing you know, I feel like I was doing pretty well. And the first time I ever realized that I could actually take it to the next level, I was a catcher my whole life. And my freshman year, I was catching a bullpen for one of my buddies for one of his pitching lessons. And he was an ex-White Sox scout. And he was like, hey, you could get drafted. I had a good athletic body. I had some pretty good feel back there behind the plate. And, he was just wanting to see me more. And then he told me I could get drafted. And I was like, oh, in college and stuff? And he's like, no, you could probably get drafted out of high school if you really tried. I was like, well, I know what I'm going to do now. And from then on out, I quit basketball and I was just football and baseball the whole time. So that's when it really took somebody else to see that and me to translate it a little bit. But that was the best thing. This is the best thing ever, man.
Wow.
So
great. Scott or Chris, you have any questions?
I guess what was last year like? Do you want to let everybody know kind of just what with COVID and everything kind of interrupting everything? How much of a disruption was that?
Yeah, it sucked. It really sucked. There's no sugarcoating it. It was terrible. But especially I was coming off a really good season. I hit I'm pretty sure 330 over 3 leagues and had career high in like home runs, and stolen bases were still there, and everything was. The Royals really. It seemed like the Royals really were interested in me, and I always get there early to spring training, so I got there about 3 weeks before. Get everything in. Everything seemed promising. Then they shut everything down, and then, everything's a waiting game from there. So, it really did suck. But during that whole time, I learned a lot of life lessons, and I learned a lot of things for the future. Just trying to think about after baseball, and I have no intentions of quitting playing baseball anytime soon. But just to have that in the back of my pocket was just trying to take positives out of everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, you had fantastic 2019 stats. Are really, they are really good. Even with your time with Winnipeg, your batting average is ridiculous, and and even in pro ball, it was very high too. So you definitely had a great season.
That's what I got drafted by the Red Sox 2014.
Right.
And I wasn't really a prospect at first, but my first season I tore my hamstring. That team was the stack that I was on. I had like Michael Kopech, that's one of my good buddies, like Devers, Javier Guerra, he's a pitcher now. Chavis was on that team, but they ended up winning a championship for us. But just to be with those guys in the same locker room, just to see the talent they are, like, it made me a way better player in the future. So, like, it sucked being injured at first, but just to be in that dugout with those guys and learning the game a little bit better, it set me up perfectly for the following season. And then, I don't feel like I've ever really had a down year hitting wise. It's always just been about developing the outfield. And I've been pretty solid out there defensively for the most part. So,
Ty, you graduated from the Delaware Military Academy, and your numbers there were crazy. So what was that experience like?
Oh, well, I love like DMA. My father was a retired cop, and I have a lot of military background in my family. So I didn't want, it wasn't really a powerhouse school at the time. It was actually like 10 years old at the time when I was there. So I was on the first championship teams, the first ever playoff teams for like football and baseball and stuff. And we never really got recognition. And I was like I pretty much was the only guy on our team when I was a senior going to college for baseball. So I just kind of got lucky. And like that scout ended up finding me my freshman and sophomore year, then that summer in between. And next thing you know, I had more pro scouts at my game than college scouts.
Yeah, for those who don't know, his Ty's numbers with Delaware Military Academy, he's hit 432 with 6 home runs, 29 RBIs, and 18 stolen bases. So they're pretty impressive.
10 games. It's like 18 games.
Yeah, that's. Bob can't even hit that, and MLB The Show.
I can't.
I can't even do it either. That game really makes me angry, man.
Oh, we're gonna get to that real soon. That's coming up next.
There's been times I'm like, do I suck this bad? I'm like, nah, good. And if my circle's on that ball, I should not be nothing but a barrel. It's crazy.
That's awesome.
But they talked about it here. Some of your stats. In 2017, you had 42 steals. In 2018, you had 27 steals. Over that same time frame, you had 9 triples. Obviously, your game is somewhat predicated on speed. But what's in your mind? Because not everybody will see it or know it. In your mind, what's an aspect of your game you think that maybe is a bit underrated?
I think my arm. Honestly, my arm in the outfield. It's nothing. It's nothing to be like, it's not 102 from the outfield, but it's pretty. When you need it there, it's pretty accurate, I'd say. So I'd say my speed, and I think this year is going to be the year that my power is going to really show. I really feel like so. My goal this year is 2020, so that's what I want.
Nice. Yeah, you had 8 assists in 2017 from the outfield, so that's pretty impressive. So yeah, I definitely could see you having a pretty impressive arm there.
Yeah, I just started doing a drive line program too. I'm down here in Bradenton at Inspiration Academy. It's like IMG.
Yep.
But it's more Christian based, and I've been doing a throwing program with them and doing driveline weighted balls every day, and my arm feels like the best it's ever been. So,
Is this your first experience with driveline?
Yeah. So I've used the balls for recovery and just keep like maintenance stuff, but I've never actually put a been with a throwing program. So, yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, we'd like to get you back on at some point, maybe later on in the year, and just, you talk about your progress from when you started with it this year with the driveline program to the end. Yeah, I'm just curious.
I'm not that.
Plus, maybe by then we'll master the MLB hitting, the MLB the show hitting.
If you got a secret trick, I want to
know. Turn the pitch speed way down. Down.
Go to rookie level.
Go to rookie.
Oh, I do. I do. I make sure I have fun on that. So
that's great.
Now, when you're putting your career together like this, you've talked about initially in 2014, you were drafted by the Sox. You've been with the Royals, with the Yankees. Now you're with Winnipeg. How difficult is it for a player to remain focused, if you will, on their game when you've got different scenarios, you've got different programs, you got different expectations? How hard is that for you to just maintain who you are?
That's a very good question. It's I'd say for the most part, it's just like your why, man. Like why I do it. Like this isn't just about me. It's not just about just my family. It's a whole, like, I got a whole community behind me that I feel like it's not bad pressure, but like I love the pressure. So right. It's just a lot of good pressure, and it's a lot of putting on a face for people. And that's just, I know when I was that age, or I got kids back home looking up to me, like I would want to be that guy. So that's kind of my reason why. And that, my family, man, it's just a couple things, but those are my two big things. So it's just, I got my whole family, and then I got the whole state of Delaware feels behind me. So it feels good, but it is a lot of pressure, but it'll happen.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah, that is. It's awesome mindset. So
now I think we go to the MLB the show talk with Ty.
There we go.
Oh man. Because in that tournament, I got mowed. I thought it was pretty decent. And I was like, oh no, this is it.
So who did you lose to? And for those who don't know, we're talking about Sterling Sharp's Ground Up for Kids tournament last year. Ty was a participant in that, and we had a bunch of MLB and MILB guys playing in that tournament. And Ty, I don't know if you've heard, but we're actually going to do the second annual tournament this year. So we're inviting you back. So
come on, man.
Yeah. So you have a little over a month to get ready. So
I'll be training, man.
All right. Now don't forget, it's going to be MLB The Show 21. So it's going to be brand new to everybody. So you can still sharpen your skills on 20 though. So,
all right.
But
fine.
Yeah, that tournament. Talk a little bit about that tournament and who you played and what happened.
I think it was Northcraft I played.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure he had a worse team than me, and he absolutely just piled it on me, man. So I was like, I'm good with 3 runs, and all of a sudden it started getting 8, and then I'm pretty sure it got past 10, and I was like, all right, dude, like this is it. Nobody wants to see this. He kicks my butt, dude.
Now,
I was like,
there was a lot of trash talking going on in that tournament too.
Yeah. I mean, I always talk trash. It doesn't matter win lose. I'm talking trash. It's fun. So I'll shake your hand right after when you kick my butt. So
yeah. So that was a lot of fun. I mean, we had a lot of guys who were in different parts of baseball playing in that, some retired guys, some guys who were just coming up, some guys who were in MLB. It was just a lot of fun, and we're definitely looking forward to this year doing it again. And it was for a great cause. I mean, Sterling's a great guy. We just had him on the show a few weeks ago, and we're looking forward to doing something even bigger this year. So we'll definitely be talking to you more as that gets closer. But what is your favorite aspect of MLB The Show? What draws you to that game, and how long have you been playing the show?
Well, I really like Diamond Dynasty. I like Battle Royale. I like that they made it a little bit tougher now, because now you actually have to pick like a decent pitcher. Mm-hmm. And it's just not just the bronze and the and the no-name cards in there, and then bring your ace in, and then. But no, Battle Royale's definitely gotten real difficult. I haven't got 12-0 yet. The most I can get is like 6-7. You guys probably crush that stuff, but
I think I've only ever gotten 2. So
it's tough, man. I just spend all my stubs on that as I just hammer them. But it's just fun to me. But that or the Diamond Dynasty. It's just fun playing with the older guys and creating your lineup.
The legends and
it's you can't beat it, man.
No, it's great. It is. We asked this question, and it's kind of becoming a question we'll probably be asking most of our guys that we have as guests or who play the game. Have you ever used MLB The Show to kind of prep for a matchup or to prep? See,
that is actually. I actually wanted to bring that up because when I was in Winnipeg, that is all I played before games, and I swear to God, it would lock me in. Like no ever. Like my roommate, my road roommate was like, "Dude, did you bring your PlayStation?" I was like, "Yes." I was like, "I'm not forgetting this again," because the one time I forgot, it was like a short road trip, and I didn't do good, and I was like, "Oh my God, I don't play video games forever now." So yeah,
that's great.
Huge. Yep.
What did you like? So what? If you can describe a little bit about what did you use? Like what aspect was it? Just the hitting, getting the timing down? Is that pretty, or just looking at different pitchers? Obviously pitches
a little
or
bit of everything. Like because I would use like my player or my career, and but I always have that on the rookie setting because I just want to see myself match, obviously. But that or like, and then I'll do Battle Royale just so I can because it's a little quicker. So. Just for timing and stuff. I like that's what I mean. It sounds ridiculous, but like in my brain it clicked. So
it works.
When I was at the Red Sox, we would do this thing called neuro scouting, and you have to do your neuro scouting, and it's just like something like virtual. It's basically MLB The Show, but the most base form, and it actually has like different simulators like picking up pitches, seeing like change ups, like things like that. But I just thought it translated. So as long as it keeps working for me, I don't care.
Hey, that's great.
Yeah, I tried to say that too. We keep hearing that a lot.
Yeah, no, I think it's huge. So that's what I'm super into like pitch recognition stuff. Like I downloaded Mamba Academy. If all my baseball players want to look at Mamba Academy, the Kobe's app, RIP, and it's basically shows a pitcher. It's got like 2 pitchers for the free version, and it shows their arm slot like a realistic pitcher, and it has a fastball, changeup, and a curveball, and you got to pick it up out of his hand. So it's a really good thing to like prep yourself for games and stuff. So definitely recommend that for guys out there.
That's awesome. Yeah, definitely. We'll send that out there, and anybody listening, that's something that you might want to check out. But yeah, I mean, the MLB The Show prep with the baseball players seems to be, kind of popular. I mean, we've talked to numerous players over the last couple of years, even before we started doing this podcast, and I was getting a lot of that feedback for a long time. A lot of guys use it to, prep for certain matchups, or just to, maybe if you're going to face a knuckleball pitcher, they're, maybe throw a knuckleball pitcher in the game to kind of get your timing down with it. But yeah, it's actually very cool to hear that. Just from guys who actually are playing the game.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm definitely an advocate for it. So
if you're not playing MLB The Show on the PS5 or 4, what else are you playing?
Probably 2K or probably Fortnite. I'm a Fortnite guy. Me and my buddies from back home like playing Fortnite. I know people don't like it no more, but it still pisses me off, but it's just me and my buddies. The only reason I don't play Call of Duty is I have no more space on my PlayStation. That's the only reason why.
Actually, speaking, did you see the announcement they made today with Last Gen? They said that the next update will probably push it beyond the base storage on Last Gen, which means you won't be able to play it anymore.
Yeah,
I
deleted it because
I bought it for nothing.
Yeah, it took up so much space.
Wow.
Like I literally had Call of Duty and MLB The Show. That's it. I couldn't play any other games. So I was like, this isn't even worth it. I was like,
you're gonna have to buy a new system for each game now, Ty.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. I don't have that kind of budget.
Yeah. None of us do. Trust me.
Oh man.
Were you fortunate enough to get a PS5?
Nope.
No.
Nope. Still riding PS4. but I'm hoping they actually come out soon. So you never know. But
Yeah, they've
I'm not
ramped up
paying
production,
$1,000.
so
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I'm not paying $1,000 for a system. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I did
That's
snag
ridiculous.
one today. I snagged an extra one for a buddy, and now we're trying to snag another one for a buddy. We all have plenty of buddies who want one right now. So
Yeah.
like, people who want them, they're not.
Oh,
sure
I'm
on
sure,
them.
man.
Yeah. So we talked a lot bit about baseball. We know you talked about gaming. It seems very prevalent in the world of baseball. But all right, let's say 10 years from now, career's over. Okay. I hope it's still going, but let's say it's over. What is Ty Hill doing?
I'm definitely coaching somewhere.
Coaching
So,
somewhere.
Definitely coaching. I don't know if that's going to be my A thing or what, but coaching is something that I can be good at, and I think I have a passion for. So,
Is that something that you want to start with kids at a younger age, or are you looking collegiate level or high school?
It's tough because I do like player development. I teach already. I give kids lessons right now, and I do love it. It can be frustrating, but it's so rewarding.
Right.
So I do love teaching the kids, but at the same time, like I eventually, I think if I want to make it an actual career, I would have to kind of push my way up somehow. So hopefully it stays in pro baseball eventually. So yeah, I think I'll definitely be coaching or somewhere in baseball still. So
Great.
Awesome.
Yep.
So, Ty, as you know, obviously we talked a little bit about MLB The Show, and I don't mean to keep going back to the video game, but let's face it, that's why we're all here today, right?
It's all good,
but so what are you looking forward to an MLB The Show 21? What is there a certain aspect? I mean, obviously you said, you talked about Battle Royale, Diamond Dynasty, and stuff like that. But is there anything that you're looking forward to in the upcoming game that you hope is fixed or changed or better, or they add something, a new feature?
Nothing I can think of off the top of my head. I think they should have the only thing for like the my career thing, have a little bit more in depth, a little bit like off the field kind of like, I don't know. They just need to make it a little more dynamic.
Kind of like the 2K.
Yeah,
kind of like
that. Because I mean, it does get a little tedious when it's just the same over and over and over again.
Yeah.
But it's like I would like them to have like more of a reward for somebody doing well, because like my rookie year, like I hit 500 and hit 50 bombs. Like, okay, you get paid $500K the next year. Like that doesn't happen in real life, So just something along those lines of just like a little bit more incentives for like performance. So
great.
I haven't checked out yet, honestly, the new MLB yet. So I don't even know the new features that they're adding on it. So, but I'm always looking forward to new cards and stuff. So,
it should be cool. Fun. And like I said, you'll have to get some practice in before the tournament.
I'm about to pre-order it this week. So
all right. Sounds good. But what about, so obviously you've been in baseball your whole life mostly, and you've been around, the big league camps, you've been in spring training, you've been in MILB, and are there certain players, or is there a certain player that you kind of maybe looked up to that, you got to meet in your experiences over the last few years? Is there a player that maybe you connected with a little bit that, you were just like kind of in awe of, or, maybe somebody you followed as a kid?
I mean, my favorite player of all time was David Ortiz. So I was a Red Sox fan before I got drafted. So when I got drafted by them, I got to spring training and I was like, what's going on? I thought I'd die or something. I was 17, 18 years old. I'm like, oh my God, David Ortiz is 2 feet away from me.
That's awesome.
It's definitely David Ortiz was the biggest, like, it was just weird, man. You just look up to these guys so much. They're like immortal. And then all of a sudden they're right there, And then,
Right.
But like Hanley Ramirez was really cool. I thought he was the man. He would come back and watch our backfield games and stuff. Like, dude, there was a bunch of good guys I play with, and a lot of those veteran guys. They treat you like your little brother, pretty much, and it's just really cool, man.
Yeah, I mean Hanley and David Ortiz are, those are two of the greats of the last 20 years. Those guys are they're legends. So yeah, that's awesome. And I know you mentioned earlier that you're still friends with a bunch of guys like that you came up with, Michael Kopech and Chavez from the Red Sox. Do you still keep in touch with any of those guys?
Yeah, me and Michael talk every once in a while. I just talked to him the other day, just asked him how camp's going and stuff. When I was out there in Arizona, we were hanging out a bunch, just catching up. Me and Javis, we always talk briefly and stuff.
Cool.
They're all just really good dudes, man. Like those are the guys that like you get drafted with and you grow up together with, basically. Like it's really cool to build bond that way. Like this is why anything happens with baseball in the end, I can't, you can't emulate that,
Yeah, it's the one thing that you'll find if you've, whether you've played baseball, you've coached in baseball, you've been a part of baseball. It's a community, it's a family, and you definitely build bonds with people, whether it's, you start playing with guys in little league, growing up through high school and college, and it's just a great, it's a bond that, most people, don't experience doing different things, so
right.
It's really, you see it, especially when you get to your level, it's kind of on a whole other level of a bond, with guys that you play with over the years. Right. So it's very cool to see.
Yeah. It's just awesome. Like, even like being at home, like, yeah, you wish you're there, but like to see like your buddy, like playing, like you're like, oh man, that guy's about to do this. I'm like, I know he's going to do this. I know this guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to text him later and tell him, if you don't, you better do it next time, something like that. It's just like, it's just cool to root. It actually gives you like a little bit more meaning to root them on and stuff. So that's the best part.
You mentioned you're a Red Sox fan, so obviously the 2 World Series was awesome for you.
Yeah.
But for you personally, is there one moment that when you look back so far of your baseball career, you look back and you're like, that was my favorite moment when that happened?
That's tough, man. Like, personally favorite moment, man.
Yeah.
That's so hard because Greenville was a fun year and that team was awesome. But there's nothing like coming back to your hometown and winning the champ and actually carrying. I'm not going to say carrying the team because our pitching staff carried us, but like just being a part of that, man, it was just awesome. Like coming home and it just feels good, man. I got my own bobblehead and stuff, like stuff I would never dream of. Like
that's awesome.
I don't know. Baseball is baseball to me, and like I aspire to be the best, but like you just never understand until it actually happens. You're like, what the heck is happening? Like that's the easiest way to explain it. I don't know, but it's definitely been awesome, man. I'm blessed for sure.
And of course, we want to thank Ty for joining us tonight. Some great insights, some great information, a lot of good laughs there. Ty's going to leave us tonight, but that's the end for this segment. But when we come back, we're going to talk to the man who hasn't said a whole lot. He's sitting down there in the corner, Mr. Stell 74, our Mike. We'll be back in just a bit, folks. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Ty.
All right, Ty. Thanks again, man. We appreciate it, buddy.
Man.
We'll talk soon.
Talk to you soon, sir.
All right.
Bye. See ya. And welcome back, everybody. Obviously, we had a lot of fun talking to Ty Hill tonight. Last but not least on the show tonight, we once again have Stell 74, our Mike. Welcome aboard, Mike. We appreciate you waiting around and being part of the show tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I enjoy listening. And you guys talking about baseball, especially with an actual pro, to hear the ins and the outs of the lifestyle and what they go through. So it's interesting. I love listening to that kind of stuff.
Well, thanks for coming on, man. It was a no-brainer to ask you to come on, and we're trying to incorporate the community into the show as much as we possibly can. Whether it's a streaming member, somebody who streams MLB The Show, or somebody who does roster creation or facial creations or whatever. So, we're trying to have as many members of the community on as we can, whenever we can. So yeah, we wanted to get you on board and have you talk a little bit about your channel, what you do, how long you've done it, and just all about stealth. And how did you come up with that name, man? Where did that come from?
That's a long story.
We got time. Come on.
So back in the day, I would play like, Dungeons and Dragons, things like that. And I always wanted to come up with a name that was kind of fit that era. So it was, it's good. This is awkward. So it was like, I came up with this name, and it was Stealth Word. And I used that through this whole gaming time of my life, playing these kind of games. And I had it up, and then I added my birthday to it. So it was Stealth Word 1974. And I had that up till probably 2 years ago, or maybe last year, middle of last year-ish. Anyways, I said, this is too long. People are calling me the wrong name. So I got to shorten it, make it simple. So I said, all right, I'll cut out the middle and just put 74 at the end. So that's where Stealth 74 came from.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you've been streaming for about how long now?
Probably off and on for like 5 years. But probably, last year when Scott put this whole thing together with Scout Scoops and riding rosters and all that stuff, and I heard about it and wanted to get involved. That's when I prior to that, it was off and on so much. It wasn't very I shouldn't say that. When I got my affiliation, I grinded for probably a year and then got my affiliation. And then it was kind of off and on after that. And then last year when the show came out, I decided, you know what, I want to try to do a lot more and make it a little more serious and things like that. And then when Scott came with Ride Rosters, I said, this is going to be cool, because there's no real teams out there or communities or whatever that do this kind of thing for sports games. It's all, your Fortnites and your CODs and all that stuff. So I thought this was a fantastic opportunity. So I jumped on it right away. And, when the game came out, we all got together. So like me and Shamrock and Logan and Mike and, all these other guys who I never knew prior to this, we all became kind of a close knit group, and we were always in each other's streams. We were always, helping each other out and things like that. So it's been good. The last probably 6 months have been kind of iffy for me. Obviously, COVID's affected everybody, obviously. Work for me, a little bit of health stuff, mental health more than anything, kind of threw a wrench into my schedule. So it hasn't been very consistent the last little while, but I'm trying to get that rectified and back to normal. And now that this, we know the countdown for the new games coming out, and I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to stuff that you guys have planned for the group and everything too. So I'm excited for that, and I'm hoping that I can get myself back into a normal schedule again and do what I do best. And mostly me, I play sports games. It doesn't matter what game, and it's always a franchise. As Scott knows, and I play franchise on everything. I reset a lot of franchises. That was a running joke last year. Every time a new roster or slider set came out, hit the reset button.
You're not the only one that does that. Trust me. We still do that too. But no, yes. I think, Stealth, last year, like you kind of said, the whole group that came together, none of us really knew each other, when we first started pulling all these streamers together and doing this whole Scout Scoops thing. And, Chris actually is one of the guys, I believe, who might have came up with the name Scout Scoops. Chris, wasn't you you were the original person that came up? We were trying to come up with it. We were tossing all kinds of crazy names out there. I can't even bring up some of the names that we originally had for it, but we got you and Shamrocks and Logan and we've got a whole great group of guys, and it was just really cool to see, especially during COVID with everything being shut down and, just people being home playing MLB The Show or not really being able to do a whole lot outside. Just seeing you guys kind of come together as a group and a community, and you guys kind of build some bonds. And I enjoyed just checking out your streams all the time and seeing you guys pop in each other and seeing you guys interact on Twitter. And, you know, it was really cool to see the friendships that were kind of made over this whole, you know, thing that we kind of started. So, yeah, I appreciate you being a part of it. I know Chris and Bob do as well.
Yep.
And, you know, we all do. So it's just really, really cool to see. And, you know, we look forward to, you know, what you guys are going to do this year. We have some awesome things planned, and, you know, we're hoping that, you know, we could do, you know, some things around some of the opportunities that we can provide to make things better for you guys and help you guys push out even better content, you know, because you guys do the hard stuff. You guys do the streams and the shows every night, or, you know, how many nights a week you do them. You know, we're trying to set you guys up with some content that, you know, makes your streams even better. But, you know, we appreciate everything that you guys do, you know, and I know some of your franchise streams were great. I was involved, you know, checking them out all the time, following them and seeing what you're doing and who you were starting over with this time and who your new franchise team was going to be.
Yeah.
But, you know, Bob, it was never the Cubs.
Yeah, well, you know, it's okay.
It was always somebody besides the Cubs, Bob.
We can do that this year, right, Mike?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, I mean, it's either the
how's he
Jays
still
and
on
then,
camera?
you know, it was either the Blue Jays or obviously what I'm running with now with the fictional with Bacon's roster doing the expos, just kind of filling the time in until the new game comes out.
Yep.
But usually I left it up to the community who you know, let them pick the team, and I just go with that and try to, you know, that way the community kind of has a say and, you know, that kind of thing. But obviously my first team is going to be the Jays, always the Jays. And that's what I'm looking forward to with this one coming up with the new roster and all the new additions and stuff. So I'm kind of pumped for that as well. But I do enjoy the Expos ones, the fact that I'm able to, you know, move a team to Montreal and use colors and stuff like that that's in the game, and somebody's, you know, the logos that some of these fantastic people built and put together, you couldn't tell like the difference. It looked like it was built into the game. So I'm enjoying that. And like I said, it's just a filler until the new game comes out. Just
think at some point if we get Stadium Creator in this game, I mean, how awesome that's going to be. You know, that's something we talked about before. So, you know, all of us have our finger crossed at some point this year or in the near future that at some point we get something similar to that, you know, you can even take it to the next step with the stadiums. I mean, being a Blue Jay fan, obviously this has to be super exciting for you. I mean, they got a great young team. What one player on that team are you, you know, most excited to kind of follow? You know, you got all these young guys coming up at the same time. You got, you know, Biggio and Guerrero and Bo Bichette. And, you know, is there one player that you're kind of, you know, looking forward to following, or who's the jersey that you got out of?
I don't have any new ones yet. I've got to get me some. I've got to get me the Springer, of course. I'm very, very intrigued to see what he does and how he fits in. But obviously Vlad's the guy, you know, 42 pounds lighter, things like that. So I'm excited to see what he can do, whether he plays first or third. But I'm just thinking when it comes to the offensive side of the plate, how he's going to be with all this less weight, and I'm thinking he's going to hit 30 or 40 homers this year, I would think.
Yeah, he looks great. I mean, I've seen some of the pictures and they say he's in great shape, and I know they're going to let him play some third base. So I mean, I definitely think we're going to see a much better Vlad this year than we did last year. What feature, going back to the show, what feature are you looking forward to, you know, this year that, you know, has been announced for MLB The Show? Is there anything in particular? And what feature hasn't been announced that you're hoping that you see? I know you said you play a lot of franchise. You know, we catch your franchise stream. So being a franchise player, is there a feature that you want implemented this year that would make your streams and your franchise experience that much more?
I guess a better relocation or expansion. Something to do with it, you know, whether it's both or one or the other, a little better setup or a better design, I guess. For me, franchise itself, I'm very interested to see what they say about franchise itself, especially for next gen. I know with current gen, it's not, from what I'm hearing, it's more just copy paste for current gen. There's not really a lot that's changed. So I'm expecting a lot of changes for next gen, which I'm excited to hear whenever they decide to put this, put a video out about franchise. Because I kept hearing there was supposed to be one this week, there was supposed to be one last week, and it never happened. So I'm hoping they're just dragging it on to make it that much better when they do release whatever video it is. But I'm thinking like an expansion, relocation kind of thing that's, that lets you do a little more. I said this to Mike Solo Bounty the other night. I said it'd be cool if they had it so that you got to do a little bit with the environment around you. So like if I move the team to Montreal, I can pick like photos of Montreal. I can put like skyline, like how they, in between innings, they'll show the Montreal skyline and things like that. I think that would be kind of cool.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, I would love that. Mike, for some of the listeners who are tuning in and hearing us talk, you said you've been streaming now for about 5 years off and on. Yeah. How long did it really take you to find your niche, find out who you were, find out how to get comfortable?
I still haven't.
I
get nervous every day before a stream. I sit and I'm usually ready to go about 45 minutes before I hit the go live button, and I sit and I just stew over what I'm going to say and how I'm going to say it and everything. I've become a more open person. I communicate a little better, and I used to be shy. I would just kind of keep to myself. But throughout the 5 years of streaming and meeting countless people and making friends and things like that, it's really allowed me to open up a little more, to be a little more. I don't know how to say it. Anyways, it allowed me to be more open to people and talk to people, and I can get up in front of groups of people now, talk without really getting nervous. But sitting in front of this camera and pushing a button and talking into a mic, trying to come up with something to talk about while you're, chasing people around, shooting people, playing basketball, hockey, whatever, that can be a little intimidating sometimes, because you tend to run out of things to talk about sometimes, and then it's hard to keep things going. But I enjoy it. It's fun. I'm an old guy, right? I mean, not as old as Bob, but I'm an old guy, and
definitely not as old as Bob.
But I'm getting up there, and
or Bob.
But I don't know. I'm going to be 47 in April.
Oh, you're young.
Yeah.
No, Chris is young. Chris is young.
I'm the young one.
Yeah. So doing this now, and I've got a 3-year-old kid upstairs, and I work 7:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. So this is kind of my away time from everything else. So I try to make it as fun as I can with the group of guys that come in every day. It's usually the same group of guys all the time. And, I just try to put content that, helps somebody get away from something they may be struggling with, or they may have, like last year with COVID and how it hit everybody so hard. For us being out there streaming the show gave people a place to go to get away from the stuff that was going on. So that to me is probably more weight than a partnership or a donation or a sub or anything on the channel. Just being able to know that you give somebody a place to come and they can sit and not worry about what's going to happen, and they can enjoy play or watching guys try to play sports and not look silly.
Yep. No, Mike, I don't think any of us could have said it better than that. And you, like I said, we appreciate everything you've done, everything you did last year, everything you're going to do this year. We totally are going to be, captured in your streams and your franchises to see what teams you're going to pick and what teams you're going to, we'll follow your escapades in the franchises you got going, and we'll definitely get you back on again, sometime in the future to talk about, the show when it comes out and how you like it and what you don't like, or what you want to see different and all that kind of good stuff. But again, thank you for everything. Thank you for supporting, all of us. Thank you for, coming on the pod tonight. And just thanks for what you do for, not just, our community, but what you do for your community and what you do for like just the baseball gaming community. It's great to see guys who, haven't really streamed much or haven't really been out there doing this. And it's great to see guys like you take off and have your own group of fans and people following your streams and following you guys on Twitter and stuff like that. So it's just great. It's just great to see, it really is. So again, thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me on. It's been fun. Like I said, first podcast for me, so I thoroughly enjoyed it. And anytime you need me, you want me to come on or anything, you just drop me a note. And
we'll definitely we have some plans for you. So we have some podcasts lined up for you in the near future. So we'll talk more about that offline. But yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate you coming on. Once again, we also want to thank Tyler for coming on. Just a lot of good fun tonight, a lot of good information having both Mike and Ty on with us. And as always, we appreciate them coming on and spending the evening with us. We also want to thank everyone who tunes in and listens or watches and just being part of our community. That's important to us. And we just want to make sure that we convey that message each and every week. So, and if you do like what you hear or you do like what you see, take time, hit that subscribe button. We would absolutely appreciate it. But with that, I believe, gentlemen, it is time for us to descend down into the dugout for one more week. Everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night.